We are off to the races. We're recording. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hi, Jane. How are you?
Hi. Hi. How's it going?
So welcome to the AI Salon. Jane and I are co-hosting tonight. Leah is off in Chicagoland, I think.
Somewhere very exotic.
Doing photography, photo stuff. How have you been?
I have been good. Very good.
Attention to detail.
Yes. Yeah.
If no one in here would know. So I was gonna say you might have the wrong info, but if they're in here, they've got the right info.
They would know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so all right, that's good. So welcome. So the AI Salon, if you haven't been here before, we've got some new folks in here. How's it going? Welcome is really designed to be a community of weirdos and irregulars who are trying to figure out what's going on with this AI stuff. And we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the launch of ChatGPT.
That's right.
And we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the salon. So Leah and I started this shortly after ChatGPT was launched. And wow, what a year it's been. Hey, come on in. How's it going? Good to see you. Awesome. Come on in, have a seat. Welcome, everybody. Wow, whole pile of people.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
It is, for everyone who's watching from home, a whole group of people just walked in. So welcome, everybody. Find a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, we're doing it online as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to come in person. But if you come in person.
It's so much nicer when you do, yes.
No.
The what event?
HIMSS.
We're the AI Salon.
AI Salon.
But we'd love to have you.
You want to talk about AI stuff? No.
No.
Okay.
That was probably a good.
That's okay.
Don't be sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Stay.
Bye.
Bye, guys. But you guys are here for the salon.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Wonderful. Okay. Apparently, we're with another salon tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Catalyst down in the Rhino district.
Yeah, it's HIMSS. It's
HIMSS. I don't know.
It's a health information management, something or other. Different him. Different him.
Kind of him.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was really excited. And then.
Yeah. No.
And then.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought guests. Hey, Punch, how's it going? Good to see you.
Good. Nice seeing you. Thanks for your help today.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So one of the things that is really important about this group is why we do what we do and our values. And so the values of the organization are important. I'm going to share my screen. And I just want to read an opening here, and then I'm going to have Jane read our values. And so you'll do your values over there, I think. And then, but the AI Salon is a ragtag group of misfits, ne'er-do-wells, and miscreants who've gathered to explore the uncharted wilderness of generative AI. We are everyone from entrepreneurs to educators, from healthcare workers to creatives, and everyone in between. So it's really important to understand that right now, the world of AI, nobody knows what's going on with this stuff. Machine learning and AI of the past bunch of decades is very different than what's happening with this stuff post ChatGPT. And so everyone's trying to figure it out. So everyone's welcome, no matter where you are, no matter how technical you are. And so with that, let's walk through our values.
All right.
So
having some technical issues here. Sorry.
Here, you know what? We'll just read them.
Okay. Okay. So curiosity. We are eager to learn new things, ask questions, and experiment. So I think the thing that we all have in common is that we don't know what we're doing. And so we come in with an open mind and be open to learning new things and accept that we are all beginners here. Generosity. We are willing to share our knowledge, resources, and feedback with others and support each other's growth and development. There's so much to learn and we can't possibly keep up, even if it's obvious to you. Everyone, when they're exploring on their own, they come with they find their new insights, and it's kind of easy to forget that maybe other people don't gain those insights as well. So when we're generous and we share our, what we've learned, then we're all learning from each other and not just like working in silos. Exploration. We are excited to try new things, take risks, embrace uncertainty and ambiguity. Act as if no one knows what they're doing, because no one knows what they are doing. So the great thing about not knowing what you're doing is that you can just explore without any expectation of outcome. So having just that openness to just trying new things and embrace the uncomfortable. Collaboration. We look for opportunities to work with others, to exchange ideas, and to create something greater than ourselves. Find a partner or a posse, start a project, start 10. We won't judge you. And who knows, you might just make a friend or the next $1 billion venture. So this is a place where you can find your weirdo.
Or weirdos.
Or weirdos. We are stronger when we all work together on this. Inclusion. We actively seek out and value diverse perspectives and experiences, recognizing that our differences make us stronger. We create an environment where everyone feels seen, heard, and respected, and where everyone has an opportunity to contribute and succeed. So the great thing about the salon is that everyone comes here from different backgrounds. We aren't all just artists or just tech people or just entrepreneurs. We all bring a diverse amount of perspectives and experiences, and that is what makes us stronger. Empathy. We are mindful of the impact of our work on others, and we strive to create work that is respectful, inclusive, and meaningful. AI is one of the most transformative technological advances in humanity. Humans matter. Take each other in and act from a place of compassion. I think we are, Kyle would agree that a lot of us are both excited and terrified about AI, and that is totally natural. And so just be empathetic to maybe the person who's still resistant or still trying to process all these changes that are happening very quickly, so we can get through it together.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard a lot in the past, I don't know, week or two. I've heard a lot of people talking about, I'm getting outright hostility when I bring up AI, and there's a lot of fear, and it's a lot of the anger, a lot of the resistance is coming from a place of fear. And so, a big part of what we're trying to do here is make a safe space. It's a bit of a support group here.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You're among friends. You're among people who have been through that kind of fear and uncertainty, or maybe are still in that fear and uncertainty.
I was going to say, yeah.
Just an ongoing existential crisis. So it's a safe space, no matter what mindset you're in at the moment.
Yep. And with that, what we like to do is just go around and meet who's in the room. And so what we'd like to have you do, why don't we start we'll start online. So if you're online, raise your hand. So it's on the bottom row of icons, it's the little hand that's up like that. Raise your hand, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about who you are. You have 60 seconds, and kind of where you are on the AI journey, or if you've had a big insight. And then at the end of your introduction, I'd like you to give us one image idea that people can make some images and share in the AI Discord channel. So if you can pop the invite to the Discord channel in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just raise your hand, and Ken will call on you. You've got 60 seconds. So anyone online, just raise your hand. Would love to meet you, and then we'll do the group here in Denver.
Okay, first up we have Zhuhong Liu. I hope I said that right. If not, please correct me.
Yeah, you said my name correctly. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, so I'm located in Laramie, Wyoming. I've been working at a startup, little AI startup company doing natural language processing. Recently got laid off. And that's part of it. I'm searching for other groups that I can join to learn about other people and continue with the AI stuff. What's the other question? I just joined in. I was 10 minutes late, so I'm not sure what you guys were talking about earlier.
That's right. Just come up with an idea for people to make an image. Maybe
Make
for
an
Halloween.
image? Oh,
Yeah.
like Bing now can give you a generate images. So yesterday I was trying to generate a background for myself, LinkedIn background, and it was not very good. So I'll try it again. Anybody else? Yeah, so like give me an image, emphasize data science focus, but make it more abstract, and put because there was a particular model was used, and put that on a bottom right, and it have a hard time to handle that. So
All right.
Yeah.
So maybe make something that represents data science. So let's pop that in the chat. Bradley, can you want to pop the things in for the chat?
All right. Good to have you, Zhuhong. Next up, we have Claire Jacobs.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
We can hear you.
Okay. Hi, Claire Jacobs. I am a psychologist in Texas, and I am new to AI. Whoa, that wasn't good, right?
No, that's
better. Sorry about that, guys. I'm new to AI, but also new to all of the technologies, so my apologies. This has been just very exciting to learn everything that I can, and I've been playing a lot with the generative art and just having a blast. And something to make art with. I take random pictures of things and then put it into Midjourney and blend it with something else, and you get the coolest results.
What about an idea for people to just go and make images to post to the thing?
I can't hear now. It's very sad.
All right. Well, all right. We'll move on. Who's next?
All right. Good to have you here, Claire.
Now I can hear. Wait, I could.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you, Claire. Next up, we have Jim Sharp.
Hi, guys. It's good to see such a big group here. So I have an IT background going back many, many decades, doing all sorts of stuff. I'm not new to AI. I'm not new to machine learning. I'm as new on this generative stuff as everybody else. I started roughly this time last year when the OpenAI stuff kind of hit the ground. A couple of the projects I'm working on right now, working on a multimodal agent for hyperlocal weather forecasting for specific activities. And more recently, just today, my wife volunteers at an animal adoption agency, and they spend boatloads of time writing bios for each of their adoptive kitties. So they have all these pages of, fostering comments and background on when they were born, and somebody has to either type those in or rewrite that. I tried Vision just a little bit ago today, uploaded a couple forms, said, write me a nice friendly adoption bio, and poof, it worked. So what I think I'm going to do is wrap this around a little website, also written by AI, saying, upload your data for a particular animal, hit this button, and out it comes, and make that available basically for free to any volunteer organization. So anyway, and it'll take probably all of about 2 hours.
All right, Jim, and do you have an idea for art generation?
No clue. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
How about kitties?
Yeah, let's do kitties.
Okay, up next we have Mike E. And you're muted, Mike.
I figured that out. Last name's pronounced Amy. It's spelled E-M-E-I-G-H, and don't ask me how it gets to Amy from there. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's not as hot as it usually is at this time of year. I am interested in the ethical use of ChatGPT. I'm in the process of transitioning from being a consultant to large enterprises to being a consultant to small businesses and nonprofits who want to leverage the technology but don't either have the resources or the understanding of how to do that. So that is where I see my niche being. And one of the concerns that is expressed to me continually when I talk to people is when I start going out there and using these toys like ChatGPT, how do I know that there's not any sort of underlying data collection going on where my personal information is going to be exposed?
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And that's an area that's still an area of concern. It's especially an area of concern when you try to distinguish between what's freely available versus what people have to pay for. And again, you're dealing with people who have not a lot of resources to throw at it.
All right, Mike, and do you have an idea for your art generation?
Yes, something that depicts how committed we are as a community to making sure that we're using data ethically.
Okay, all right, thanks, Mike. Good to have you here. Lee Chazen, you're up next.
Okay. Oh, so hey everyone, Lee Chazen here in Sacramento, California, where the weather is about 75 degrees, in case anyone's curious. So how do I get this under a minute? That's always the big question. I'm a super curious person, came from the field of education where I was doing a lot of experimental stuff and game-based learning. When ChatGPT came around, I think I told this to others, I was online for like 3 continuous days, just experimenting with everything possible, you know, and so I've got a whole bunch of prompts on FlowGPT that are getting some traction. One is like future me, where you dialogue with a future version of yourself to find out how you got to maybe where you're supposed to go. And it asks you a bunch of psychological survey questions and to find out what your obstacles are. The real problem has been kind of limiting what I'm doing because I have like too many ideas at all hours of the day and night. So right now I'm finishing up a pitch deck for an AI incubator in Seattle. And I'm seeing if I can get some traction there. And so I'd love to talk to some others about it. The idea is for a think tank, creative agency, and podcast. And so we experimented with our first interview last Friday. And if anyone's interested in talking about what they're doing in AI, just leave me a message, because I would love, like what you said at the beginning of the program here today. It's so ambiguous and nobody is really an expert. So we're trying to like create a vocabulary around this, like identify what it is we're working on, what that is, and what we should call it. And so I think if you guys want to join me for Friday, it's like a very open-ended, creative, curious.
Okay, Lee, we'll have to leave. Do you have an idea for your art generation?
Yeah, I've been experimenting with like graphical representations of an idea. So you just ask for like a graphical representation of like students sitting in a circle solving a problem using all parts of their brain. And then you get some amazing designs.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Thanks, Lee. Next up, we have Kay.
Hi, this is
Tim.
Tim.
Okay.
Oh,
is that
yep.
me or is that
Kay?
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think you said Ted.
Kay is up next.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to turn my camera on. Hi, everybody. My name is Kia. I'm also following on TikTok as well. My name on TikTok is Nature's Blessing. I just want to let you know that that's how I got here.
Nice.
Originally from Washington, D.C., residing in North Carolina at this point. I am in education. I've been in education for 15 years. I am an AI enthusiast because I believe in ed tech and where it can take the kids right now. I see the enthusiasm when I do my when I play just the old game Kahoot, and we play Kahoot, we play Book It, and all these are just academic games that kids play, and I see how involved they are. We talk about AI and what is it going to look like in 2030. They show pictures on AI. When I tell you they are excited, and these aren't high school kids. These are third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders who are basically getting ready for this transition. And my goal is to try to pair them as much as possible. And with that being said, I start all of the kindergartners off. A lot of people are scared because when they first come in kindergarten and they're giving them a computer, it's so weird to see them because they want to touch the screen. They're not used to the keyboard yet, right? So touching the screen, I mean, it's the cutest thing ever. Why am I here? I'm here because I truly believe in AI, and the reason why is because I am an English teacher and I teach English and literature. So writing is my thing. So just trying to organize and find the right words to put in to see what I can get out has been just exciting for me. What do I want to do with AI? Ultimately, I definitely want to try to find a way wherein teachers can start using AI. Schools are scared to use AI at this point because they really do believe that it's.
All right, we're gonna have to leave it there, Kia. I appreciate it. Do you have an idea of your art generation, by the way?
Yes, I want to see the future in AI for kids. Just pretty much something close to what was mentioned before, but just see how it would look if we have kids, and then the year 2030, what they would look like, what they would be into. I just think that'll be great.
All right, welcome, Kia. Good to have you here. Eric Rowland, you're up next.
So I am consulting with a bank that owns a bunch of companies and building a benefits consultant chatbot to replace an old chatbot. And I'm also consulting with an ad agency to do a whole bunch of different things like sales automation. But anyway, I did want to, I constantly am reading and trying to keep up with AI like this group is. And I just want to say sometimes that can really help. So I'm building this chatbot for a bank, and I found a data set of customer service calls. And so I proposed that to the data science team, and I'm already starting to build an intent classifier based on an LLM. And then we're going to use the question and answer pairs to fine tune an LLM. So anyway, I'm just saying keeping up with things and reading about it can be super useful in your job. And so I was, very happy to come across this. And anyway, love this group and glad to be here. Oh, and idea for a picture. So just something holiday related. So how about a zombie eating a bat?
Nice.
That's good. I like it. Good to have you back, Eric. Up next, we have Andrew Dallins. I hope I said that right. Andrew, are you with us?
Good day, Andrew.
I still can't hear you. I know you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Dang
All
it.
right, we'll come back to Andrew. Peter Kaminsky, you're up next.
Hi, I hope you can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you.
I'm an entrepreneur and technologist, and I've been helping people connect with other people and connect with their skills and abilities for decades. I'm super excited about AI because it's got so much potential. I also want people to learn about it so they help society make better decisions about it. it can be a little scary. It can be super generative. So I want to see people think about it well. I guess that's me. So my image generation idea is a ghostly apparition playing an ethereal harp.
Nice.
All right, good to have you back, Peter. Up next, we have Jeff Gray.
Good evening. I come from the apparel world, and I've been coming to this group since probably early January. I am working on a startup with AI art and printing on physical products. I'm getting closer to a prototype. I know I think I've been saying that for a long time, but it keeps getting pushed out a little bit. But hopefully I'll have something maybe to show in the next few weeks, 2-3 weeks or so. Very excited about that. I guess I'm from Minneapolis, and what I would have you guys draw is a bunny wearing a Gucci suit in a bar.
All right, good to have you back, Jeff. Up next, we have Cindy Kuhn.
Hi all, I'm Cindy Kuhn. I live in the high desert mountains of northern New Mexico. I am an applied futurist, an experiential researcher, an artist, a writer, and of late, a super generative AI junkie. So I'm hanging out in all the spaces where I can have my weirdo unite. That's really important for the space I vibe in. So happy to be here. I will give my art idea based on the background that I have on right now, because when I popped on my Google Meets, popped up a thing and said, create your background, which I didn't know they could do that. So I built one real quick as we jumped on. So I'll give you the same that I put in to make that background happen, which was high desert mountain in the twilight. And then I use the sci-fi filter.
Nice.
And that's me.
All right,
welcome,
perfect.
Cindy.
Good to have you here, Cindy. Up next, we have RJ.
Hello, I'm RJ. I'm here in north central New Jersey, up in the Highlands area. And my main interest in AI is trying to help people and help myself too. I've been involved in like a peer support help site, you know, just to help people out that need help. And once I realized that AI could do probably a better job than the people can there, I was really looking into, you know, how that could be done. So I joined up with another meetup group before this one, and I've been trying to help people get up to speed using AI. And most recently, I created a meetup session for helping people searching for jobs. So I'm going to expand on, you know, themes like that where, you know, big populations of people need help, and AI could really help them there. So job searching can really help. My image idea that is my go-to prompt for making him fun images is a comic strip style, a comic drawing style image of anything popping up out of a laptop screen, like a puppy dog or an AI robot, and you can see some of the images that I made on our Discord.
All right, perfect. Good to have you here, RJ. Up next, we have Eric Sanner.
Hello, everyone. I think I have the hiccups, so I might hiccup. It's possible. Fair warning. I've been an ESL teacher. I've been a teacher of teachers. I've been an artist, graphic designer, web developer, branding consultant, marketing consultant. Right now, I think of myself mostly as a student. I just finished the AI Exchange Bootcamp, and now I'm in a MIT X Pro Design and Build AI Products and Services. A very challenging course for me. Do not have a technical background for it. Trying to figure out the next thing. Very excited by technology. I think this is the beginning of experiencing the singularity. So that's my view. As far as an image goes, I would like to see either abstract concepts like democracy or failure or what have you, or floating ponds. Let's have some floating ponds.
All right, perfect.
Floating ponds or democracy, huh?
Concept. Abstract. Floating ponds are abstract. Floating ponds is concrete. And then abstract concepts like, you know, any word that doesn't lend itself to an immediate visual like a tree or a brick.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, good to have you back, Eric. Up next, we have Sam T.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you guys. So yeah, my name is Sam Taliabracci, is how it's pronounced. Occupation IT and robotics. I'm from Waterloo, Ontario. So yeah, I'm an AI enthusiast, much like you guys. I've been studying AI since December of last year. Pretty much just scouring the internet, anything and everything I can find. I just absorb it. And I like to evaluate like the capabilities of all the new techs. I feel like kind of my perspective is that having access to the internet, Google, and like the University of YouTube at our fingertips has kind of empowered us as like individuals. So with this new AI stuff, I feel like it's almost like a tier 2 human. It's taken that kind of knowledge of Google and all the knowledge of the internet and just made it like your own personal assistant that you can, you know, ask, you know, very personalized questions, programming, stuff like that. So yeah, I guess I'm somewhat of an expert at GPT, Stable Diffusion, and stuff like that. I can train models, all that stuff, program, all that stuff. My focus is in robotics and integrating AI. I have like a team of AI and roboticists. I guess for my picture, let's try to create a robotic AI company logo.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good. And by the way, all these suggestions, you know, please be making images and then share them on the Salon Discord, which if you're not a part of that, I'll show you how to join that in a second. But go ahead and share those in the show and tell channel.
Perfect, and good to have you here, Sam. Let's try Ted. Ted Dunn, you're up.
Hi, my name's Ted Dunn. Come here by way of Kyle's AI Learning Lab TikTok. And I'm in sales for a tech market research firm. I've been in the news and research business for the past 30 years or so. You know, love using AI, mainly ChatGPT-4, just about every day, and emails and anything to help myself get smarter at things quickly at work. And for an image, I'm in the southern New Hampshire area. We had our first frost this morning. So the image would be a jack-o'-lantern, but with frost on the pumpkin.
All right, perfect. Good to have you back, Ted. And Jeff Flanagan, you're up next.
Mic on. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can. We can hear you now.
My name's Jeff Flanagan. I live in Arkansas. My career that I'm retired from now was in water and wastewater treatment. I wore a few other hats, but that was many years before I retired doing that. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm a great-grandfather. When my family gets together, it's wild. I came through the AI Learning Lab and the live meetups. I'm an irregular, I guess. Nice. And I'm using AI mostly. I was introduced to it at the beginning of the year, and I've pretty well gathered every tidbit that I can pick up about it. Pretty fascinated, and I've had several Kevin McAllister moments. And I'm using AI mainly to write a historical novel that I'm working on, which I was empowered to do by having access to AI. I'm using Claude mostly for that, but I bounce back and forth. And also I'm planning to launch a blog website middle of next year, probably June 1st of next year. And I'm using it to put ideas together for that. So it's going to be called Primeval Innovation, which is kind of taking things that have a long, long history, like even prehistoric times, and bringing them forward to the present and even into the future. So that's kind of the idea of it. For an image, I'm working on a logo brand for my blog for that concept, and I'm picturing an image of the pi symbol, the initials of Primeval Innovation, or pi, and I'd like to see them in front of a Mayan type pyramid, stepped pyramid, you know, going up in several steps. And the pi symbol is very, very high tech, shiny, you know, very innovative, and the pyramid looks like it's pretty well gone back to nature. If you can picture that.
All right. Good to have you here, Jeff. And
Thank
let's wrap back around to Andrew.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Quietly.
barely.
Awesome.
Okay. Can you get closer to your
my
mic?
name is Drew. I live in Northern Virginia. I work from home. I work for, my wife and I kind of co-own a bookkeeping company here in Northern Virginia. And I left my job in finance 15 years to come back and work for her. But I do a lot of the social media, a lot of the media, a lot of the IT stuff, and supporting the Microsoft 365 system that they run. So I was kind of originally looking for easier ways to do that as one person, because we have 15 people, and coming from my background, I wasn't really familiar with Microsoft and WordPress, the website that she has her site on. So I was kind of looking for help with that in the AI area. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Welcome.
And do you have an idea for your image generation?
Yeah. Sure. This is actually something that I got from, I was working with Dolly earlier. A photo of a vast cosmic landscape with enormous fingers resembling celestial entities, gently pushing vibrant swirls of paint across the canvas of the universe.
Awesome. Can you
perfect.
paste that in the chat?
Yeah.
Bradley's trying to keep up. I think you lost Bradley.
Riley's fingers fell off.
All right, let's do some intros here in Denver. So if you're not in front of a computer, can you come over here and just introduce yourself on this machine, and then if you are in front of one, we can swap out. But just jump in there and say hi.
Hello, my name's Scott Young, and I've been in IT and technology for my entire career, starting with hardware all the way through software, even into sales. And as such, I've always been interested in any new technology that comes along. So AI is one of those. So I got interested in about the beginning of this year, and I tried to figure out what can I do with this. So I'm also creative. I play guitar, and I do a lot of art and other types of creative endeavors as well. And so I figured out, well, if it's easy to create an image, what's hard to do with this technology? So I started creating music videos that I've been publishing.
Oh, cool.
And I'm up to about 25 now, and I have found some techniques that make it very intriguing. And I use other typical digital art software to composite all the different AI renderings that I do into a finished piece.
Nice.
So that's kind of what I'm doing with AI. So for my image idea, it would be a, keeping with the holiday theme here, a zombie rock guitar god playing in front of thousands of people on stage.
That's awesome.
All right, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Grabowski. I am also been in technology for my entire life. I just recently worked at a large software company that was just acquired for many billions of dollars and no longer there. If you are in the know, you probably know what company that is. I'm also a professional musician and have been my entire life as well. So I'm seeing AI as a vehicle to help me be creative, both visually and lyrically and story-wise, and just structure different things as far as telling stories with music, and then linking that visually as well. And I think that's probably just about it.
Awesome.
As far as a picture, I have to think about that one. I've already done an album cover and a T-shirt, and I already have a picture of myself playing in front of thousands of people. So I have to come up with something else. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, great. You want to introduce yourself? Here, wait, I'll mute. Wait.
Hello, I'm Victoria Ditale. I'm new to Denver. I'm project manager for one of the big web design companies here. Web design and development is my forte. This AI is blowing everything off the roof. There is so much that you can do. All you have to do is put your mind to it to get these things done. It's amazing, and everybody's talking about different things here and what they're doing. It's just phenomenal. I can't wait to dabble into some of these things. It's just mind-blowing. For as far as web design and development, the content writing of AI is just off the charts. The pictures off the charts. This is a great task for us to create pictures. You have no idea what's coming. And you really don't. As far as my picture today, it's going to be a dragon with angel wings playing pool while dinosaurs watch in a smoky pool hall. So yeah, nice seeing everybody.
All right, so yeah, mute yours.
I will.
Mute yours.
Everybody, I'm Mike. Been into AI for a long time. I was on the GPT-3. I got the beta invite in like early 2021. I was in Midjourney on the original first Midjourney, and the first when Stable Diffusion first came out. I ended up teaming up with a gigantic content creator and made a AI talk show on Twitch, which ended up getting like 260,000 followers, which then I had to delete because it got banned because it's AI and it ran 24/7 and I couldn't control what it said.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And
so you're a success. You're an AI success.
Not really. I made like $5,000 with it, and it was not worth the time. But it was really, really cool and really fun.
That's cool.
And if anyone's interested, I'll say the name of it. I don't know if no one knows about it. It was big in other countries, but my image is going to be a cat looking in the mirror, but its reflection is a lion.
Ooh,
thank you.
It's good. Nice to meet you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Udom. My background is actually, well, it had nothing to do with coding or technology. It's actually journalism, philosophy, a little bit of politics. So
Nice.
basically, what I have been dealing with professionally is asking questions. And I realized ChatGPT is really miraculous in that way. Like it just, you can ask any questions and you will get an answer. So with that being said, I have been really interested in digital immortality, but more like interested on the line of compartmentalizing it. So there's a saying in the Bible, right? Ask and you shall receive. It's just what question are you going to be able to ask, right? That's, well, essentially, if we look at it from a marketing perspective, then it's basically our clientele, what kind of needs do they have? And who is going to be in the process of mediating that needs into a question that could be answered by something like ChatGPT. And I feel like you know, when we talk about digital immortality, people are like, well, you know, it's going to take forever. Everything is just kind of a blueprint for now. But I feel like one way to kind of just keep the ball rolling, right, or get the ball rolling is just to start asking very specific question. Like an example I can think of is very experiential, right? Like a family-run business. I'm sure they got their recipe now. The grandpa, who's the CEO, chairperson of the company, had 5 years left to live, right? If we can get an assistant to just communicate whatever this person's experiential strategies and things that are going to be vital for his family business, then that could be potentially used even after he passed away. Let's say his children are not even interested in running the business, but they need the money. So we can just get a very specified program to just kind of do what grandpa does best and kind of make grandpa more redeemable by cutting out a lot of the, you know, less adaptive way of thinking. So I feel like it's something that I've been exploring. ChatGPT, I've been addicted to it, to be honest. A picture. The picture I want people to imagine is a hologram, but like within each hologram is like, think of them as follow-up questions. So if you think of follow-up questions, it's like, oh, okay, let's follow another. And then it turned into a big picture that eventually captured all of it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brad Perkins. I am an AI enthusiast, design strategist, and organizational strategist. I am both doing too much and not enough at the exact same time with AI, it feels like. So probably won't get into that, but yeah, excited about all the things AI is bringing and all the changes that it's going to force us to make for the better. And image-wise, I'll go with a holiday theme. So I want the Doctor Who TARDIS decorated for Halloween. The inside, which is bigger, if anybody.
Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone. CJ, graphic designer for the ARC here in Colorado, generative artist for City Under Siege Designs. Find me on the Court of Discs at City Under Siege. And my word for your generative art is going to be desolation.
Desolation. All right. It's a good one. I like it. All right. Man, that was a marathon.
It was
big.
Yeah.
That was a marathon. So awesome. Thank you everyone for sharing. I mean, what is exciting me, I mean, we talked at the beginning, Jane, about inclusivity and just people coming from different backgrounds. Like I feel like even in the room here in Denver, right?
Yeah.
Just like people from all sorts of cool backgrounds and, you know, technologists and professional musicians coexisting in the same body, you know, super cool stuff.
Guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to share my screen here. I want to quickly show you, if you haven't been on the AI Salon Discord, this is the AI Salon Discord. So there's a little introduction section. So if you haven't joined, Jen, can you pop or have CJ pop the invite for the Discord in the chat?
Yeah, I can pop it in there.
So go to the chat. When you get in there, introduce yourself. So we have it in there. There are resource sections. There's guilds, which I'm going to talk about in a second. One of the things about if you want to join a guild, there's this join a guild section. And if you don't know Discord, it's one of the most counterintuitive things in the history of interfaces. But if you like one of the guilds, you don't click on the name of the guild, you click on the little icon below that matches the one that you want. So I'll talk about that in a sec. And then there's also discussions in here, and there's also show and tell. So a lot of the images that you've been asking people to make are being shared in the show and tell. So that's where you share them. That's where to do that. Okay. So one of the things we're looking for in the salon are organizers. So we we made this announcement in the last salon, and we had a number of people reach out. If you're interested in volunteering for the salon, we're looking for a couple of specific things. People wranglers. So if you feel like you've got good connections or you're willing to reach out to people, we'd really like to find someone that can be a speaker scout or a speaker manager. So find people to come speak at the salon, and or a volunteer manager. So as we get more volunteers, people to wrangle people would be good. And then social media managers. So we've got LinkedIn and YouTube pretty set for now, but we still need help with Twitter, a little bit with Discord, a little bit with Instagram, and then Meetup is woefully ignored right now. So that could use some love. So if you've got social media experience and a little bit of time, just email Ken, so Ken Rouse at hotmail.com, and let him know if you're interested, and then we'll get you in the mix. So appreciate that. Okay, so for the guild updates, how to join is you first join the Discord, and then we'll have the different guild leaders tonight introduce themselves. There are 6 guilds currently. There's AI 101, which is basically, if you're new to this, just trying to figure it out. That's Peter's kind of passion, and he's really great at that, and very patient. And he will also wrangle you to become a teacher once you've learned some things, which I think is the coolest thing about that guild. There's the art guild, the writing guild, business, we're talking about AI in business and business tools, and then the entrepreneur guild with Bradley, and then AI mechanics is more technical. We may add other guilds, but with that, why don't we go through and do some updates? So Peter, you want to catch us up on what's happening with AI 101?
I do. Thank you, Kyle. As Kyle said, AI 101 is about getting started with AI, and we'd love to have you. I'd love showing people AI, either image generators or LLMs, either way. And also, I'd like to talk in that guild a little bit about how to bring up the next people. You know, those of us who know a little bit about AI, it would be great to talk a little bit about how we teach more folks. We've been doing weekly, maybe every other week. We've been doing get-togethers every week or so. And this week we had an interesting thing. I proposed a time tomorrow tomorrow morning, and RJ said, you know, there's a cool meetup going on, presentation, kind of prompt engineering and stuff like that. Maybe we should go to that instead. So tomorrow we're going to do a field trip, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and you're welcome to kind of join us. And then I think I will schedule something for probably 7 a.m. Pacific and 10 a.m. Eastern on Thursday for us to get together. We can kind of recap that and also talk about whatever getting started with AI stuff you want to. Thanks. Looking forward to seeing you.
Terrific. And Leah is out, so there's not an art update, but where's Leah's making art? But Leah's been having weekly meetings, giving art generation challenges. And Claire, who's in here, has been doing a tremendous amount of work in here and in the Show and Tell channel. There's also a Midjourney channel. Sounds like someone's got their hand up. That might be Claire. Let's see.
It's RJ.
Oh.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out on behalf of Leah, she said, and I really like this idea that anybody can just sort of pop into another guild. They don't have to be a member of the guild. If they want to participate in the conversations or pop in at a meetup, everybody should know you don't have to be a member of the guild to join in any of the activities. So just to let people know.
No, it's a great point, RJ. And the whole idea, if you join a guild in Discord, is if you click one of these little icons to join the guild, you'll get that role within Discord. What that allows is the organizer of the guild, the guild leader, to be able to reach out to you. So that's what the purpose of it is. And you also have a cool little badge that says you're part of that guild. so that's always good. Okay, writing guild. You're
Okay,
up.
I'm up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, hang on. Okay, hang on. All right, so there's a new technology that's come out, and it has teachers are scared because the students are using it to write their assignments and their term papers, right? And the teachers are worried that the kids, if they use this technology too much, then they're gonna forget how to write. Like the technology is going to somehow deprive them of their ability to write. And that description sounds a lot like, ChatGPT. We've seen a lot of buzz come out in the last year about students using using ChatGPT to write their assignments. But what we actually talked about in our writing guild last week was the word processor. So when the word processor, not just the desktop computer, but the word processor that I was too young to use, but other people in my guild remembered it. When it came out, students were using it, and it was correcting their grammar. And the teachers were worried that the students wouldn't learn grammar because the word processor was doing it for them. So I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, so basically what we talked about was just kind of this idea of the resistance to new technology, and exactly what is it exactly that, why are people resistant to it? And, some people ask the question, what are the right questions to ask, right? So some people ask the question like, what if the electricity goes out? And the answer to that is, well, if the electricity goes out, then civilization collapsed and nobody is writing term papers and cover letters anymore. So we don't have to worry about, whether or not we know grammar. And then the second question is, well, what if the technology goes away? And we know from history that, the technology doesn't go away. Once it's out, there's no going back. It's not like, oh, forget the desktop computer or forget the iPod or, forget television, right? Like radio, like whatever it is, it's once the technology is out and people start using it, they're not going back. So the real question you should be asking, like, as you're using these tools, is can you back up your work? Like, are your skills in writing or coding or art, photography, video making, are you still strong enough that when you put it out there that you're able to back it up? I use ChatGPT every day to write news clips, and I rigorously edit that stuff. Like, it does, most of the time it does a really good job, but I still rigorously edit it, because if there's a mistake in there, if something's wrong and we publish it, that my name's on it. And so in order to do that, I have to have the writing skills and the analytical skills and to examine it and edit it and make sure I'm writing the right piece. So those are some really heavy questions to ask. And that's what we talk about in the Writers Guild. I like to describe it as, it's not a group of AI people talking about writing. It's a writing group that talks about how to use AI as a tool, because at the end of the day, it's just a tool.
Awesome. Great. So if you want to do that, join the Writers Guild. Ken, you want to talk about the Business Guild quickly?
Yeah, sure. I won't take up too much time. I just got a few points written down here.
Wait.
Wait. Okay. Sorry.
Oh. Hello. Does someone else have their... Hello? Okay. Ken, you want to do the update on the Business Guild?
Yeah, I would love to. I won't take up too much time. I got a few points written down. I'm Ken. I'm the leader of the AI for Business Guild. I would love for all of you to come and join our guild. Basically, we are talking about anything to do with AI in the workforce. So we talk about subjects like how do you find a job using AI, or how do you find a job in AI? We keep up with business trends and news in AI. For example, how are Apple and Google going to incorporate AI in Android and iOS? We'd encourage you, in fact, to share news articles that you find in the AI for Business Guild so we can discuss them. And we also discuss, the kind of the heavy hitting topics, the ethics of AI in business. We explore things like how businesses are going to equip the workforce with AI, and will it improve efficiency? We explore topics like learning new tools, new AI tools, and how to use them. Also, I'd like to mention that we are looking for a co-leader for the AI for Business Guild. So if you're interested in co-leading the guild, reach out to me through Discord, or you can email me. I threw my email in the chat. It's ken.rouse@hotmail.com. Also email me if you're interested in volunteering here at the AI Salon in some capacity. And then regarding meetings, we are planning to have some meetings here soon, but they are going to be a little delayed until we kind of nail down some more concrete frameworks for how that's going to work, and kind of see how everybody feels about the meetings first. So I really encourage everybody to join us in the AI for Business Guild. We'd love to have you.
Great. Bradley. Oh. Wait.
Okay, now we're ready. So for the Entrepreneurship Guild, our focus is really to kind of talk about new age business models, shifts in the marketplace, and changing user behaviors, as well as what it's going to take to start a business, or what it might not take to start a business in the world of AI. So this last week, there we go. Sorry, technical issues. This meeting is on point today. It's one of the best. We haven't been doing this for a year at all. What we talked about last week was building a network and how important that's going to be in starting a business moving forward. With so many companies coming in and launching new products, new businesses in a matter of months and weeks, then your network is going to be more crucial than ever. Your following is. So really about building up that network, how that's going to work in the age of media, social media, and where you can kind of build those platforms, where you can gain an audience and use that to your advantage. And we went over through some tips on how to build that, where human connection and community is going to be key, as is the AI Salon, having a content strategy, and really starting now. There's really nothing holding you back from pursuing any dream or vision that you have as far as businesses go. So again, the Entrepreneurship Guild, we talk about more than just startups and opportunities. It's about the changing landscape that we're entering in and how you can compete in that marketplace. So we meet every other Thursday right now. So not this week, but next week we'll have another meeting. And except for holiday weeks. So if it lands on Thanksgiving week, we won't have one, but excited to see you all there, and hop over to the Discord channel where you can see the meeting invitation and some chats.
Beauty. All right, and then the AI Mechanics Guild is a more technical guild. It's the guild master is Pate, who works at Google, and he can't be at this meeting because he's working at Google on the West Coast. Roger, I think I saw you come in here. Do you want to chat at all about the AI Mechanics Guild?
Sure. So I'd say it's a little bit different of a sort of guild intent than several of the other ones. It's really meant as more of a sort of a resource for other people in the salon who have questions of a more technical nature and want to understand kind of a little more what's under the hood. It's a place where people who have more of that kind of knowledge kind of are listening for those questions and will engage in those discussions. I think we're not, I mean, it could be a place where more technical oriented people could geek out with one another, but I think that would be kind of off-putting to everybody else. So kind of not going there, at least for now. So we encourage anyone who has, who's curious about, a little bit about what's underneath the paint to come ask questions, and we try not to bite. I realize it can feel like once you just sort of stick your toe into the technical side of the stuff, it's like this, it's like diving into a deep pool. And I think, we're reasonably good at providing, not requiring you to drink from the fire hose, to give explanations of things that aren't overwhelming, and sort of let people slip into this stuff more. And so, again, I encourage people to come check it out and ask questions. We also haven't been really pushing it that much because of what Kyle's going to talk about pretty much 30 seconds after I finish here, which is we're going to rip all the stuff up and throw it away and start over again anyway. So
yeah, exactly that. And what Roger said is really important, that even if you don't have a technical background, as you start to learn more and more about this, if you wanted to get into things like automation, or if you start a business, you're going to come up against, okay, I actually need to go a little deeper here, right? Or if you do have deep technical background, you might be able to join that group and support people doing that. So I think it's good to have that corner where people can geek out if that's required, but also just educate as people start to spread their wings with this stuff. So I think it's super critical. Okay, moving on. So the guilds, right now we're on Discord. We had a guild masters meeting, a guild leaders meeting last week, and 6 out of 6 of guild leaders said Discord sucks bad. Discord sucks. So we are transitioning over to a platform called Mighty Networks, which is a web-based community platform. We're going to start with the guilds, so we'll migrate the guilds first. The goal, we talked about November 30th as the goal.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes.
And as smoothly as this meeting's been running,
I mean, nothing could go wrong.
what could possibly go wrong? So there's nothing for you to do, but just know that we're moving to a platform that you won't have to go on Discord. There's all sorts of cool stuff it does, including calendaring. So all of these meetings, there'll be kind of a master calendar, and the guilds can have their own calendars and things like that. So that I'm pretty excited about. All right, let's get into a little bit of news. So let's see, is there a question? Looks like there might be a question. RJ.
RJ has a question.
Yeah, Kyle, I'm just a little bit nervous about this move to Mighty Networks, because it's nowhere near as sexy and cool a site as Discord is. So I'm just wondering, are you sure about this?
Yeah, well, yeah, we are. But you don't have to do a thing. We will likely leave some things on Discord, like the ability to do mid-journey and things like that, maybe a show and tell channel, but there are many things that Discord can't do that the salon really needs. So
right, you can't run any bots. You can't run any bots at all on Mighty Networks, as far as I know.
Understood. Understood.
Okay.
So, appreciate the concern.
All right, sorry.
That's all right. That's good. Okay. So as of this week, ChatGPT is fully rolled out to all Plus and Enterprise users. So I wrote down here, DALL-E 3 we've been talking about and using. It's got Vision, which I think we've been talking about. It's got Browse with Bing. It's got advanced data analysis and plugins, which it had before. It's got custom instructions, and then the iOS app, I think, I'm not sure if the Android app has it yet. I know iOS does, but it's got this conversational mode that's kind of like Pi. So if you haven't gotten yourself a ChatGPT Plus account, I think it's kind of the deal of the century right now. $20 a month for all of what it does is a pretty great deal. Most of this stuff is not available in the free account, but that should all be there. If you're not seeing these features, you should just see DALL-E 3 and Browse with Bing. If you're not seeing plugins or an advanced data analysis, you have to turn those on in settings and just play with the other stuff. If we have any time at the end of the meeting, I would love to just hear anything one's been doing with these new multimodal capabilities. So we'll come back to that if we've got time at the end. Right before we were getting on, Ted, who's on the call, you still there, Ted? Are you available to chat newsy stuff?
Yeah, sure. Hi.
Okay, great. Ted's going to walk us through two different things, but November 1st, CoPilot for Office 365 is coming out for, CoPilot's coming out for Office 365 from Microsoft on November 1st. So basically, GPT-4 inside Office 365 is essentially a week away. I put a little screenshot there. That's the little sidebar from the Edge browser that has, it's the little ChatGPT thing. They've now rebranded it as CoPilot. So they're starting their rebranding. And then Ted, you saw this thing about for the enterprise version of CoPilot, it's got a 300 user minimum for enterprise. So basically, if you're not spending a pile of money as an enterprise, I don't think you're getting access to that. Do you know anything more about that, Ted?
I don't, Kyle. It was just something I happened to see in a article from Computer World, actually, and it was just kind of running through. The November 1st, getting close to the rollout. Yep. And it had mentioned an analyst from another tech research firm, not the one that I work for, from Gartner, who had mentioned the 300 user minimum for enterprise. So thought that was interesting as well. At $360 a year per head, for that, that's at least $100,000 barrier for entry if they're if they're going to hold to that. So thought that was interesting piece of information. I haven't seen it kind of corroborated anywhere else, so I'll keep an eye out for that and see if it. If there is truth to that. I certainly can ask one of our analysts that work with Microsoft if they've heard that as well. So I can certainly, get back to you and see if there's any truth to that. But well,
it kind of corroborates the for ChatGPT Enterprise. I think you need to be spending about 10 grand a month. So this might be a way for them to just throttle scalability. Because there was another mind-blowing number that I heard that OpenAI at this point, they just announced, I think 2 weeks ago, they've hit 1.3 billion in revenue. And that's without rolling anything out really to enterprise. So just with their $20 a month, I suppose, and maybe API access, they're at 1.3 billion in revenue. So the demand seems to be there, which kind of tees up the next story, Ted, which I thought this was really fascinating. So you want to walk through this?
Sure. So today, two obviously biggies that were in the tech earnings season. So one of the things that I do with our tech research for my firm is I bundle that up and I sell that to Wall Street and VCs and PE firms, hedge funds and such. So I always kind of have an eye on things like earnings. And today was Microsoft and Google's earnings. They were announced at just after 4 o'clock. It's the market closed. Overall, great numbers for both firms. The big disparity is that Google missed their cloud business estimate by more than what analysts were expecting, and Microsoft kind of hit theirs out of the park. So their Azure cloud platform was up 28% in the quarter. So there was a great quarter for them in cloud growth. Google did what it does well, which is advertising. Their numbers in advertising were up quite a bit. But this is as of the end of the September quarter. So I think all eyes are going to be on Microsoft when CoPilot does roll out to see. And a lot of that, what I've been hearing is that, where's the where's the money? You know, Wall Street's asking where's the profit? There's a lot of hype, and they have very short attention spans when it comes to making the numbers on the quarter. So everyone's going to be really looking, particularly at the next quarter, when these types of numbers come up again, to see if anyone's making any money off of this yet.
Yeah, and I find it fascinating. Like, there was less of an impact on Google search than I thought there would be, but the fact that Azure's up that big and Google's flat on cloud services says that there might be some growth being driven by this AI stuff. Might even be just awareness, right? That people are moving to Microsoft, but really interesting numbers. And then finally, this one, talk through this chart, Ted, because this was the one when you posted it. I'm like, oh man, I want to share this one at the salon tonight, because I think this is it's a big deal.
So Morgan Stanley, in their kind of tech equity research coverage, looking at AI, they came out with a report. It's a little hard to see in this image here, but what it's basically showing, if you see all the light blue in the bar charts here, that is basically who is not using either ChatGPT, Bard, or Bing, and all of them have numbers in the high 80s, 80%. I'm not exactly sure what the universe was that they were surveying, but the usage numbers of any of these Gen AI LLMs are in the single digits, and the non-use is all over 80%. And they looked at looked in May, and they looked in September, and there wasn't a really big increase between May and September. There was a bit of an increase in all of them, but what it tells us is we're tunnel vision focused on AI. We're in the AI salon, we're AI adventurers, right? This is antithetical, right, to what we're doing hours and hours a day. It's early days, right? And this is not while the rollout has been exciting, and the adoption has been quick, it's still peanuts in terms of actual folks hitting the keyboards on this stuff. Yep,
exactly. Yep, very, 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 very early days. Very, very early indeed. So anyway, I guess one of the other thoughts I have on that is a lot of the feedback that I hear from people that are just getting into this is, I feel like I'm so far behind, and you might be far behind, but we're way ahead. Like, if you're talking about this stuff right now, you're way ahead. Okay. Any other thoughts on the new?
The missing point I think there was, well, look at all the revenue growth that's going to happen for these AI companies. Consider, think of it that way. Look at all the revenue opportunity that they have. Anyway, that's it.
Yep. No, I think massive opportunities. So yeah, exactly. Great. So Marcus, I want to make sure you're there and available. How's your connectivity?
I think I'm good.
Okay, good. So I want to introduce Marcus. So I was on a live last night, and I was talking about someone had asked a question about privacy, and is ChatGPT safe? Can I put my private information on there? And I basically said, assume that until further notice, it's not private, it's not secure, right? Just assume, don't put sensitive information in there. And I said, we're quickly getting to a place with these open source models where you can run open source models locally, you can run ChatGPT locally, and that might be secure. And Marcus was on the live and said, hey, I'm actually running one of the optimized Llama models on essentially the equivalent of a Raspberry Pi. And I said, oh my God, that's amazing. Would you be willing to join the Salon Discord and share what you know? And sure enough, he did. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, would you be willing to share this with the Salon tomorrow and just, tell people what you've done? Because I think this is a really important trend that the developer community is certainly talking a lot about, but the idea of being able to run a large language model locally on a device is something that's going to be incredibly powerful for a lot of people. So, so first, I just want to thank you, Marcus, from being willing to just sort of hop on here and share what you know and hop on the Discord. The value of generosity that we talked about earlier in the meeting is sort of brought to life by you. So thanks very much, and take it away. I'm looking forward to hearing the story of what you've done.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Happy to be here. Super excited to show what I've learned. Like you said, privacy is still really important to people using the latest technology. That's been expressed a couple times in this meeting so far. And I think locally run LLMs are gonna play a big role in people's ability to use generative AI in a way where they can also maintain their privacy. As many of us know, with these free products, they're often not free, as we are the product. Our information is being sold, and that is the case with services like ChatGPT and Pi. You can read the terms of service. They do explain that they will use your data and they will share it with third parties. They may train on your data. The bottom line is you should submit, your input to these companies with the expectation that it's not private. And I think as technology develops, both hardware and software, it's going to be more viable for us to run our own AIs locally. And they're going to be customized. Our AIs are going to be exactly who we want them to be. They're going to fill the role in our lives that we want them to, and they're going to be totally private. So I wanted to experiment with this a little bit, and I found out that there are a few people they have small, large language models running on like Raspberry Pis and stuff. So this is what I put together. It's about the size of a hearty ham sandwich.
That's a great reference.
But this has a 7 billion parameter Llama 2 running on it. So I'm going to demo that right now if you guys are interested. Let's see if I can.
And just to be clear, the Raspberry Pi, that basic platform, it's a very low power, very inexpensive, standalone computer, if you don't know what those are. So the fact that it's running a large language model is pretty remarkable.
So the hardware itself is, it's supposed to be $100 board, but these boards are in such high demand that they're marked up pretty much everywhere you look. So I had to pay like $160 for this, but it has 16 gigabytes of RAM and 8-core processor. I've got an SSD plugged into it to get it running really quickly. And the project that I've downloaded to use on this, I'm assuming you guys can see my screen here.
Yep.
I'm on GitHub right now, and this project is called llama.cpp. And this is a project you can load a large language model into. This is all the documentation. If you want to try this out, I'm going to put together a guide to make this easier to digest. But all of the information that you need is in the documentation. You pull this project down using these two commands, and then you run this command, and the project is ready to accept a large language model. You can get your large language models from Hugging Face. There's an account on here called The Bloke. He is a hero to the local LLM community because he converts all of these awesome like small models and big models to models that can be run on a device like this. And he does it through a process called quantization. And I won't go into the details about that, but it's basically making the model a little bit less accurate at the expense of being able to run it on much, much lighter hardware. So you want to go to this guy's account and look for 7 billion parameter models. And clicking into these, you'll get different information about what the models are good at. Some are meant for coding. Some are meant for storytelling. Some are just general purpose. But once you have that downloaded, you can load it into that Llama CPP project and spin up a client that runs in your browser like this. This is running on a server, so I can also access this from any browser on my network. I can open this up on my phone and use this tool. And this may look intimidating, but really the only part you need to start with is this prompt up here. And this is where you tell your model what role you want it to fill. And in this example, it's just a friendly chatbot, just like ChatGPT. And then you start saying something down here. Now, in the interest of time, I've already spun up a couple examples. So this one I've instructed to be a creative writing assistant.
Oh, cool.
And I've started with the prompt, can you make this far more descriptive and eloquent? And I give it the sentence, a man walked along the rocky shore alone at sunset. And it gave me a very, very romantic, almost too romantic alternative to that. The sea, now painted in hues of orange and purple, seemed to breathe with anticipation as it met the land, its waves caressing the rocks in a mesmerizing dance. So I can say, can you make this a little less romantic? And it'll take that command, and it takes a couple seconds for it to respond. But once it does, I typically get around 3 tokens per second, which is a little bit slower than reading speed. And it's probably going to go even slower right now because I'm sharing my screen, and that's taking up precious CPU power.
Yep. But again, in case it's not painfully obvious, this isn't going off to OpenAI. This is all running locally on that little Raspberry Pi. I
could unplug this computer from the internet right now, and it would operate just the same way. So nobody else can read this other than me. It is going. Sorry, did somebody say something?
I was just going to say, why isn't there a little mind blown emoji down at the bottom that
I Yeah. And also, can you talk, Marcus, about this is a Llama 2 model, so this doesn't have any safety guardrails on it. So can you talk about that as well?
Yeah, there are Llama 2 models with safety guardrails, so it'll be trained to, you know, avoid giving you instructions on how to build a pipe bomb and stuff like that. But most of the models you see on like the bloke are there for uncensored purposes. So like if you have somebody writing a horror story and they want, you know, a scene that's a little bit darker than something that ChatGPT would give you, that they're gonna use an uncensored model. So these models, most of them they're going to be willing to tell you really disturbing things. They're going to be they're going to give you information as if it's fact, and it's just like an complete hallucination. So I wouldn't use these models for anything other than creative purposes and for gaining a better understanding of the technology on a lower level, closer to, you know, the tools that are actually producing this text. Something that came out with this Llama CPP project just a couple days ago, they added multimodality to it. So I can now feed it images.
You're not sharing anymore, by the way.
Oh, One moment. As my computer's trying to reconnect, 1 sec.
Guardrails went up, says Drew Shockley. It heard you talking about it.
So while my internet is reconnecting, multimodality.
We see you. We can see you. We just can't see your screen share. Yeah.
I'm streaming from my video from a different device than the Raspberry Pi here. You are offline. Did I disconnect the antenna? It wouldn't be a tech demo if something didn't go wrong.
Well, that's the theme of the evening.
Yes. It's not just us.
Okay, it's coming back. Okay, I've sent a request to be let back in.
I think I let you in.
Yep, okay.
There we go.
All right. So they added multimodality a couple days ago. This means you can feed it images and text. And just like it's a little bit dumb with text, it's a little bit dumb with images too, but this was a pleasant surprise. I fed it this image of a medicine label, and I asked it, how many should I take a day? And it basically said, you should consult your physician to figure out how much you need to take a day. And I said, it says right there on the label how much I should take, but my eyes are bad, so I can't read it. Can you tell me what it says? It says the label on the tablet bottle says take 1 tablet by mouth twice a day. And it does indeed say that. So it is capable of reading text. And then it reminds me to consult my doctor. I fed it this image that I took in Utah. I said, please write a beautiful poem about this photo I took on a memorable hike with my father. And it wrote an okay poem, I guess. It was a nice attempt. I fed it this beautiful AI generated image from the Discord. The image features a large white shark with its mouth wide open, surrounded by numerous birds flying around it. A small boat is also present. The person on board the boat must be experiencing a sense of wonder or even fear at witnessing such an enormous animal up close, while also being aware of the vulnerability in comparison to the shark's size and power. Overall, it is likely an exciting yet potentially dangerous situation for everyone involved.
By the way, the prompt for that was, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. It's able to describe this picture of hikers. It almost gets the number of people correct. It says there's 6 people. I count 5 here. It can tell that they're happy. I asked it if it knows what movie this is from. It correctly said this is from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But I asked it which characters are shown, and it said King Arthur and Sir Lancelot. This is, I don't remember this one, but it got the movie right. Yeah, so the possibilities are awesome. I think this is just like, this is the tip of the iceberg. It's just the very beginning. So I think there's going to come a point in time where we are going to have really smart local LLMs like on our phones, on our devices, and we're going to be a lot less reliant on the big companies to get utility out of LLMs. And the big dogs are always going to have a role because they're always going to be able to run, you know, the latest hardware in greater volumes. But I think this is going to reach a level of utility where we're all going to be able to run it locally.
Can you talk, Marcus, about the speed of innovation. Like how much have you been following this open source world, and have things accelerated since Llama came out? Can you just talk about the evolution of this? Because I've been paying attention to it from the commercial side. I've just been purposefully ignoring this stuff just because there's so much to keep up with. Like, I had to draw the line somewhere. So I'm just curious if you could just talk to the evolution on this side.
Yeah, my interest in this has been exponential. So where I was like kind of keeping track of it in the beginning, I've just become obsessed in the last few weeks, getting this up and running and seeing what I can do on my own. But I mean, the Llama 2 model, I think it leaked. Like, I don't think they had an intention to release it, either the first or the second one. But like, okay, it's open source now.
Yeah.
And developers took over, and they took that beast that was Llama 2, and they made it their own. They fine-tuned it. They branched off of it, and they made it available for smaller devices like this. So you don't need like a supercomputer to run your own version of Llama 2. So, and the tools to modify these are also expanding and increasing in accessibility. So more and more people are able to fine tune these models on their own data sets to get exactly the LLM that they want to be using. Yeah, the pace of advancement is just, it's stunning to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you've got questions online, raise your hand, and Ken will call on you online. So please raise your hand if you have questions for Marcus. And then if anyone here in Denver does as well, just let me know and we'll get you over here.
Okay, looks like we will start with RJ.
Ken, this is really amazing. Thank you so much for this. So I'm wondering how many people on this call want to, try loading it on their machine now, like on their own laptop or something. If it takes up that few resources, it seems like we should all be trying it. That's my question.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to get out of it. Like I said, these small models, they're less accurate, so they're not producing as reliable information as like GPT-4 will. And it's not just like a very simple, like out of the box experience like GPT-4 is. So you're trying out different models that are specialized for different tasks and crafting prompts to get exactly what you want out of the model. So there is a learning curve. There are some limitations. I think right now with where the state of this technology is, it's good for creative stuff. But anything where you need like accurate information, I would relegate this to experimentation and creativity for the time being. But it's a beautiful start.
Yeah, how long would it take for like a total novice to load it onto their laptop, let's say?
With the guide that I'm preparing, I think a novice could spend a night getting this up and running. I'm hoping that the guide that I'm putting together is that useful and that reliable that it's just a series of commands to run in your computer's terminal and you're up and running. But we'll see.
Could you maybe hold a session where you walk us through that? That'd be so cool. I'd love to try it out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of variables at play. So the stuff that you got to do to get it running kind of depends on what machine you're running, what operating system you're running. So if you're running a Windows machine, the commands you got to run are a little bit different than if you're running a Linux machine, for example.
Yeah. And Marcus and I talked about, do we want to do a demo of that install? And we both realized, no, it's probably a good idea that maybe we park that off to the side. And but if you want to geek out, that might be something. I'd say, let Marcus put his guide out there, and then if it makes sense, this might be something fun for the AI
mechanics
guild to kick around. CJ has a question.
Hey, Marcus, could you throw your hardware specs into the chat?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, cool.
So
Any
Marcus,
other questions in Denver?
Yep.
Hi Marcus. So just so you know, so you're not so disappointed. The picture where it says that there's 6 people and you said there's only 5. There is actually 6. It's on the back of the third person. There is a child there.
Oh, sure enough.
Oh, that's cool.
So you're not so disappointed any longer.
That's awesome.
Any other Denver questions?
Nope, we're good here.
All right, Alan, you have a question or comment?
Yes, thank you. I'm interested if the language model in Llama can tell left from right and top from. Does it have a geometry built in? To it? So can you ask it? A lot of these image understandings will get the general picture, but if you ask them, is the man on the left or right of the woman, they'll almost always just hallucinate. I'm wondering how this model does.
That's a good question. One of the example images, I took a screenshot of me running this on my phone and put it into the Discord. It was a picture of a man walking 2 dogs, and it did just mention on its own which dog was further ahead on the path. And it got that right. So it does seem to have like the ability to communicate some level of like spatial awareness, like where things are in an image.
That's great. I saw a demo of ChatGPT-4 was looking at blueprints and coming up with robotic code to machine those, and that obviously requires a very good sense of geometry. And I think that's important when you have applications like that. Say, here's my flow graph. Now convert this into PowerPoint or CAD. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, it gets as much wrong as it does right, though. This image, I thought it would get really good results, but I mean, this is clearly supposed to make lasagna, but it thinks there's like cinnamon on the table and mint leaves, tomatoes. There's no tomato. There's mashed tomatoes. This is definitely oregano or something. This is not cinnamon. So
Well,
yeah,
I think it should
Okay.
be a good recipe.
It cannot be trusted.
Okay, Sam, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, just to when you guys were chatting, there's someone who said they weren't really following the open source kind of lineage. And I just wanted to kind of point out one of the things I've noticed with OpenAI's GPT is that they have something called like the Constitution AI. It's the thing that kind of safety checks everything in all its responses. And I noticed that it kind of felt like it was getting more and more kind of like restrictive. One of the things that I like to do is sort of like a benchmark is use like the Dungeons and Dragons kind of like world to kind of role play and see how creative, see like kind of the constraints of the AI. And I remember it was like getting upset with me because I wanted to cast like a fireball on like a cobalt village. And I said, well, it was like, why? It's like, well, you know, this is not the kind of gameplay we want to have. We want to have everybody like has a good time. I was like, okay, but they're kobolds and they're like thieving the place. It still wouldn't let me do it. So then I said, what if they're like orcs? And then it started calling me out for being racist. It was like, I was like, come on. So kind of like I felt kind of, so one of the things me and my friends are doing is we're doing like a D&D immersive. I have like full voice, you know, text to speech models.
Oh, cool.
And we use Stable Diffusion to generate images for the kind of like, you know, what's going on in the, you know, whatever the storyline. And I felt like I was using OpenAI initially. I wouldn't look at anything else. And I didn't even really consider, we kind of followed it, but we didn't really consider the local models. But recently I kind of jumped back in and I'm very impressed with Wizard. I was only using Wizard 1.1 and I found that that was phenomenal. I just noticed that they released Mistral Instruct, and also Wizard 1.2, which I'm downloading right now to check out. So kind of like what my point is that the unrestrictedness of the local models is actually quite appealing.
Yeah, it's very appealing. A lot of people have found a lot of utility for it, especially in creative endeavors like that. There are models that are specifically tuned for role play like that, like Dungeons and Dragons style role play.
Very cool.
Cool. All right, Roger Scott, you're up next.
Yeah, well, this is one of the reasons why the whole guardrails, et cetera, approach on the large public models seems just futile, because as the ability for people to build private models with whatever lack of guardrails they wish as that the bar to doing that gets lower and lower. If that's what people want, that's what people will get, right? Those models will outcompete the constrained models just overwhelmingly, and they'll be relegated to the famous dustbin of history. You know, people talk about, I remember 20 years ago, and they used to have guardrails on models, and and these big companies tried to ram those down our throats, and open source just beat them over the head.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now the open source projects are like completely reliant on Facebook.
Yep.
In order for these models to keep advancing, we need Facebook and these giant corporations to please let us have their models for us to mess around with. Because if they start locking them up, because open source community, it's going to be really, really difficult for us to train these gigantic models, pool the resources together. But companies like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, they have the resources to train these massive models. And if they ever, Facebook is pretty much the only company releasing these for open source purposes. So if they start locking these models up behind closed doors, the game is over, pretty much.
Isn't there a project, Marcus, that's an open source? They're doing sort of distributed GPU farms so that the open source community can train up a frontier model. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that, but that does sound interesting.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months ago. So
there are
something to look into.
There are very serious technical problems with trying to do distributed training of these things.
Yeah,
it sounds like a nice idea, but it's really hard to make that work.
Okay, Ted Dunn.
I thought though that was part of the legacy, though. I'm sorry.
RJ, we got questions from.
I was just going to try to talk about that point, but that's okay.
Yeah. All right, Ted, you're up.
So I've been reading a lot about the chip companies in 2024, all kind of rushing to get chips that will allow on-device AI. Something about Qualcomm actually coming out with a chip, for laptops that's going to, allow for the horsepower for on-device AI. And eventually phones will be able to have more powerful chips to be able to do things locally as well. How does what you're doing, with low resource, like something like Raspberry Pi, how is that when we are able to have laptops and phones that have the horsepower to run things locally, is that going to do away with the need to run things like you're running?
Yeah, I don't need to be running it on this right now. So if you have like a MacBook with like 16 gigabytes of RAM, you can run the same models I'm running, and they'll run way faster. It'll output tokens way faster than I am on this. All I'm trying to do here is like push the limits down. Like, we've already got people pushing the limits upward on that end. I want to use like the lowest end technology and see what I can run. So this is basically a fun experiment. It's a way for me to learn more about like the underlying technologies behind like ChatGPT and these services, where you can just like go and go into a website and interact with a graphical user interface, I want to know like what's going on underneath and how can I change these things? Because I think the lower you get, the more you're running things yourself and building things yourself, the more options you have to build things that other people aren't building, to create things that other people aren't creating.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the idea of figuring out where the boundaries are. And I think the importance of that is if you understand where the boundaries are, then when those boundaries change, you know, you're right there and go, that's a big deal because I knew that was a hurdle before and it's not anymore, right? So
yeah.
Good point. And Alan, you have a comment or question?
I just wanted to comment on the restrictiveness of the OpenAI and the other thing. I would venture to guess that the fact they're getting sued by everyone is part of the reason why they're very restrictive. And with open source, there's probably no one to sue, so that makes it much easier. You may have noticed that DALL-E, now you can't put in specific artists that are older than 100 years old, and it will no longer characters of famous people anymore, which makes some things quite a bit harder to do than they were, like getting consistent characters. You used to be able to model them after celebrities and have them come out, but so I think that a lot of it's the legal environment as much as anything, that they don't want to be in the news in a bad way, and so open source has an advantage there. Appreciate other people's thoughts on that in the few minutes that we're going to devote to this. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, if you have a thought, just raise your hand. I do have a quick question for you. I'm sorry, Ex Omni. And my question is, I've heard that generating art, generating responses, copyright, etc., has been pretty energy intensive. So I'm wondering, I don't know how long you've had this setup going for, but if you've noticed any kind of extra charges on your bill for energy, etc., or maybe if you could just speak a little bit about that.
That's a really good question. First of all, the heavy computation only really happens when it's analyzing or producing text. So while it's just sitting there, not considering what you just said and not trying to respond to it, it's hardly consuming any energy at all. But this board, I think it maxes out at like 6 watts or something. So it uses very, very, very little energy, even when it's producing text for me.
And that's largely because of the quantization, right, Marcus?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and the quantization, basically what they do, as far as I understand it, is they remove like 90% of the data out of the data set. And I don't know how they do it, but they make it, you know, very, very thin from a data standpoint, and it still works. So it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, it's amazing how much brain power is left in the model after quantization. You can think of quantization like if you imagine a large language model being made up of numbers with like numbers so accurate they're down to the millionth. What quantization does is it's just like, we don't want a number that accurate. Let's round up to the nearest tenth. So it reduces that accuracy, but there's so much more left there to use that it's like it's an awesome thing to mess around with still.
Amazing.
All right, do we have time for one more, or
let's do one more and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, Roger Scott.
I was just going to follow up on that. There's actually 2 different techniques to use. There's quantization, which is basically taking the values in the parameters that you care about and having them be at lower resolution. So basically, you know, like you say, rather than 1 in a million, it's 1 in 100 or whatever. But there's also something called sparsification, where there's a whole bunch of zeros in there that just don't contribute at all. And there are techniques that basically allow you to save on the overhead of processing those. Because if you process the zeros like they're any other number, it's pretty expensive. Whereas if you have special code that says, oh, that's a 0, it's not going to matter, you can run things much faster. And so that's another fairly productive technique for running these things more, especially doing inferencing more efficiently. And typically people are really trying to squeeze this up for doing both of those things. They're doing both sparsification, and on the data that's left, they're doing quantizing. That's awesome.
That's awesome. It's another ad for the AI Mechanics Guild. Thanks, Roger. That was great. Marcus, I think you have earned a well-deserved AI Salon golf clap. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Very nice. Seriously, with I think it was less than 12 hours notice, you just jumped in and said, yeah, you were willing to do this. So just thank you so much. That was really awesome. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
It's terrific. All right, everyone. That's it. It was a technological marvel, at least at the end. And,
with no credit to the organizers.
With no credit to the organizers at all. That was all Marcus. But anyway, thanks, Marcus. Thanks, everybody, for coming. If you're here in Denver, we're going to go over to Zeppelin Station and hang out and have drinks. So join us for that. If you're online, go drink on your own. All right, everyone. Take care, everybody.